Welcome to the Alternative Dog Moms Podcast. I'm Kimberly Zoey, creator of Keep the Tail Wagging. I've been blogging about raw feeding, pet wellness, and life as a crazy dog mom for more than 10 years. I've seen massive improvements in my dog's health since I began raising my dogs naturally, and I'm passionate about sharing my experience to help other pet parents.
I'm Erin Scott from the Believe in Dog podcast. For more than 10 years, I've been researching and learning everything I can about healing cancer, allergies, autoimmune, and mystery illnesses in both my dogs and myself. And I can't wait to share with you everything I've learned in case it could help you too. As the Alternative Dog Moms, Kimberly and I are bringing you all the latest dog health news that we're following and the brilliant people we're meeting along the way. Now let's get started. Hello, Kimberly.
Hello, Erin.
Happy 2026.
I know. Happy New Year. It's here.
I mean, we're a little bit into it now, but
I know,
it's the first time I've seen you.
It feels like it. There's so much going on.
Oh my God, there's so much going on.
I mean, you have a new job. It's year end and, the very tippy top of tax season for me. And it's just like, life is busy.
Yes.
And I always forget how busy it is this time of year. But it is what it is.
Lots to talk about.
Yes, I know. I sent you a list.
So you were on fire with your email this week. I just have to say, I was like, mic drop.
I was so proud of that. I was so proud of that article that I sent it to people.
Good, you should be.
I was so proud of it. But I was, it's one of the things that I think my biggest pet peeve within the fresh food space is when we are competing with each other. And I understand that, it's not going to be all kumbaya. And technically we are as a podcast, we're competing with other podcasts. But I just don't see that it's an either or. It's not like people can either listen to us or listen to someone else. There's 24 hours in a day. There's all through the week. I mean, I listen to podcasts as I'm driving, as I'm grocery shopping, when I'm doing laundry, when I'm working. I mean, there's plenty of space for all of us to succeed. And whenever I see something, and I don't want to put intention behind what I read, and the video has been since taken down.
Really?
But yeah. So Dr. Roberts, who's we've had on this podcast, she posted a video, promoting her crock pot diet course. And she posted it, and I can't remember it word for word, but it was something of the effect that the raw feeding industry is a $3.5 billion industry. And basically it's, kind of built on lies because they don't want pet parents to ask questions about the benefits of rice. And I'm watching this. Someone sent it to me and they were like, I'd be curious about your thoughts on this. And I'm watching it, and I watched it probably 5 times because it was just like, what? Wait, what? And I had to make myself stop because I started just immediately just fact checking. And the first thing was the $3.5 billion industry. We don't really make a habit of interviewing raw food brands, but we have had several on. And I immediately thought of RAR. And, I'm just like, she's not down there making 3.5. And granted, it's an industry, so it's not like one person's going to be making that. Yeah. But still, with the raw food brands that are out there, $3.5 billion. And so I started digging into it. And that was the first thing, was that, yes, there are articles that said the fresh food segment.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, and then how they define fresh food is not how we define fresh food.
Yeah, because they're including fresh pet, I bet.
Yeah, they're including fresh pet. They're including Blue Buffalo. They're including, is it Hills that came out with a
refrigerated.
Yeah, that's who they're including in that. That's not who we would consider fresh food. And so that's like once you take those players who are multi-billion-dollar companies out of the equation, you have a different number. I have no idea what the fresh food segment makes. But, and there's also just so many different aspects of fresh food because there's, of course, raw, gently cooked, freeze dried, dehydrated, air fried, or I shouldn't, air dried, air fried, air dried. So those are come up off the top of my head. Then there's also what you buy at the pet store, what you have direct sent to you. There's also the companies that do kind of parts and allow you to do DIY. And so like Raw Feeding Miami, Raw is another one, My Pet Carnivore. There's also like the mini raw food co-ops around the country. I mean, there's so many aspects that I don't think anyone could really calculate a legitimate annual revenue of the fresh food space.
Because everybody's defining it differently.
Exactly. There's too many variables. So that was the first thing. The other thing was using studies to prove that rice is somehow not necessarily a necessary ingredient, but it's very beneficial specifically to the microbiome, your favorite topic. And that was the other thing is, basically taking studies and um my perspective of the study was not I didn't have the same takeaway. So saying that dogs in Laos are eating sticky rice is not proof that dogs should have rice and that they have this great healthy microbiome. According to whom and as compared to what? And dogs are so opportunistic. That is what's happening there, but that doesn't mean that that diet is going to succeed here. It's the same as Bobby and why I had so many questions about how he lived because it wasn't just that he ate fresh food. It wasn't just that he ate outside. It wasn't just that he went on these long walks every day. It's just like there are so many things that, like what, we talk about, what is it? The Wi-Fi. Do they have Wi-Fi towers there? What's the toxic load? What's the stress level? What's what pollution that's going on in the area? There's so many things that I was curious about, not only just to better understand his life, but to see what I could replicate in my life. And I can't allow my dogs to just go walking around the neighborhood and get a long walk on their own. I mean, I can do it. I can walk with them, but I don't have that. And I also can't trust, if I did, trust that my dogs are walking in perfectly safe space. Um, but that's another story. But I looked at that study and making that connection, it was just, it made me, another thing I thought of is like if I dumped a bowl of rice on the ground, my dogs would eat it. They will not turn down free food. But that doesn't mean suddenly like, oh, maybe they're missing something in their diet. And
also, like, where is the rice coming from? Is it contaminated with
yes,
things?
yes. Yeah, and is it brown rice? Is it white rice? I mean, white rice is basically, especially in the US at least, has been stripped down and then s nutrients are added back in. I mean, is that really healthy? And then, the question of if we're gonna talk about cooking is better than, raw, which I don't agree for my dogs. I honestly think that I wish that we as a community can get better or get away from this is what's best as a general statement because what works for some dogs may not work for other dogs. And also, it takes away um, people's ability to shift and navigate with comfort. Because if you're telling someone that cooking is best, that's all you should do. And if they have a dog that doesn't do well on cooking, if they're not able to formulate a healthy cooked diet, especially if they want to avoid synthetic nutrients, if it's too expensive, it's too time, whatever the case may be. But you're telling them that if you can't do this without saying it out loud, you're kind of saying then you might as well just go back to feeding kibble because nothing else is good. This is what's the, gold standard. And I just think that it depends. I mean, with my dogs, I have fed everything that's within the fresh food space. And this is based on convenience, whether or not I forgot to thaw something out, whether or not it was a foster or my dog and how old they are and what they wanted. Rodrigo, he started turning away from raw. So I started cooking for him more in his last years. So there's a place for everyone. And to say that to put the message out there that people are lying, that people are being deceptive, I think it does more harm than good. And I think we're already in a space where people are freaking out because they think that they're not doing a good job. I actually got an email from someone who does alternate different types of food for her dogs, and she was worried that she was doing something wrong. And it's just like, she wasn't. I thought you're doing exactly right. I think variety is so important. And for some of us, the variety is going to be in the style of food, not necessarily the protein or the fish oil or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, it was a fun art. It took me days, but it was a fun article to dive into.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
did a really good job, and everybody,
thank
if you're
you.
not getting Kimberly's emails, make sure you sign up and get that one.
Yeah, I love a good rabbit hole. It was when I saw that, it was just like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun." There were several. I had several rabbit holes. I had that one. Did you see the cow horse?
Yeah.
Um, someone compared, and I made a point of not calling the person out because even though I don't have the type of audience that goes racing towards someone else's page to give them a hard time, I know it doesn't feel good to have someone be like, "Look at this moron." Not that I said that, but that's kinda how it comes across. But someone in a video made the statement that, and I sent it to you, right? Where
Mhm.
it was that people say that dogs shouldn't have carbs and I think she was referring to grains and rice. And I don't know who says this, but I'm sure there's a tiny segment of the raw feeding community that does say this, but their reason behind why dogs don't need carbs is because they don't have enough amylase in their saliva to be able to break them down. And then she says, "So neither do cows and horses. So should they not have carbs?" And I immediately commented because I'm just like, that is not an okay comparison. You're talking about three different species. And it's just like,
Nope.
what are you doing here? I mean, that makes absolutely no sense. And that from that video, I had a carousel and I had a reel. And I mean, I was just like, and furthermore, it was just like, I understand that maybe to her, that was a big hot take. And I see that like with social media, people want to put out these like 15-20 second videos to get people's attention, but my issue is the sharing of, let's just call it what it is, misinformation, wild misinformation, but also doing it to promote something. So it's not like you just misunderstood biology. You are promoting, like, I think she was promoting like either a newsletter or a community or something, like getting people to join it. And if you come there, she will show you the science behind why she's saying this. And then I'm just like, there's no science. So I'm going to do some stuff too, because it's like there is no science here. And I mean, that's kind of what I've been seeing a lot this week. I think I want people to be able to share, or I want people to share information, but I think it's so important. I think all of us who have a mic in front of us and a computer and a platform, we are required to share somewhat accurate information.
So I'm exploding over here because cows and horses are herbivores.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, even if you think dogs are omnivores, which, some people do, I think they're carnivores, but it's just like, are you insane? Are you insane? I mean, there are and the thing about it is that you could still argue for the benefits of, you like with Dr. Ruth, you can argue for why cooking is better in some cases than raw, because there are many cases where cooking would be a better diet. You can argue why dogs should have carbs in their diets. You can talk about, different life stages, specifically puppies and, working dogs. You can talk about the different types of carbs, but these little short blips, which in my opinion, they sort of give people the permission to stay status quo,
Mhm.
because you go and look at the comments and people are like, "Exactly. That's why I feed, Purina rice and sweet potato and chicken recipe. I have no idea if that's a real thing. But but they feel validated. And it's just sort of like, no one's saying if you want to add rice to your dog's food, that's your business. But let's be honest about the role of rice. I mean, because I do this thing every Friday where I correct a recipe that I find online. And I found one that had rice in it. And I was able to well, it was completely unbalanced, but I was able to balance it removing the rice from it. And it was a cooked recipe. And it didn't have synthetic ingredients. It is possible to do. But, for a lot of people, depending upon what you have access to, you may not be able to do it that way. And I don't know. I don't like social media sometimes. Just FYI. My dogs keep turning on the heater in this room and it gets warm. And I just need to unplug it. Apollo's the first one to learn how to turn it on. And then Buffy, watching him, started turning. She just walks up to it, and there's a button, and she just nose butts the button. Oh. And then she steps back, and she waits like, can I feel the heat? And then she just goes about her thing. And I'm like, at first I thought it was an accident, but they've done it so often that it's just like, this is dangerous. I mean, I love how smart dogs are, but this is dangerous.
So we have to give a shout out to one of our listeners.
Yes, we do. I'm looking for it. So we got a fan mail. You can send us fan mail through the Buzzsprout website.
Right in the show notes, it'll say send us a text, right?
Yes, and it doesn't give us your name. So I appreciate everyone who sends a follow-up that says what their name is so we can say that. But this is from Jennifer of Birmingham, Alabama. And last time we were on, we were talking about
the lepto vaccine.
The lepto vaccine, that's right. And my concern was that I haven't noticed any outbreaks in my area, so I'm hesitant to vaccinate my dogs for that. And she sends, FYI, as you were discussing this last podcast, thought you guys may find this useful, the website, and it's called petdiseasealerts.org, and we'll have it in the notes. It gives you real-time risks for disease breakouts in every area of the country for all major bacterial, viral, fleas and ticks transmitted diseases, including lepto. You can also sign up for alerts in case of a severe breakout in your area. And I love that.
Yeah, that was really helpful.
It was. I trust my vet and I love my vet, but I don't want one person to be my resource for something like that. Especially when, they are very kind of adamant about the vaccine. Yep, found it. And they do have lepto as its own thing. Or either that or my phone was listening to me. So what's up with you?
Oh, trying to get all settled into my new job and trying to get out and walk the dogs at lunchtime since it's so freaking cold here in the mornings. So at least that gets me up and moving. By the way, if we have any people listening in the Mid-Atlantic area, I'll be with Woof Creek at the World of Pets Expo at Timonium, Maryland next weekend. It's January 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And Lisa, the co-founder of Woof Creek, is going to be giving like a free seminar there talking about ways to be a more eco-friendly pet parent. And it's called Stop Buying This Stuff.
Nice.
And so we're really excited about that. And we'll also have free gifts for anybody that comes and visits the Woof Creek booth at the event. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Oh, I'm gonna do a little bit of early TV talk. We finally cut the cord on cable.
Congratulations! How does it feel? It's been a couple years for us.
Yeah, it's very funny. So the thing that I miss is that was our clock in that room. Is we had the Comcast box that would tell us what time it was. And so now when I walk in the house, I immediately am like, "Oh, what time is it?" And it's not there anymore. And so we're gonna have to get a clock for that room. That's really the only thing that I miss.
The hardest part for me was getting used to the getting used to channels. or not so much channels because I do everything on streaming, but where to find stuff.
Yes.
But it wasn't too bad. Well, I should say it wasn't really too bad for me because I was already doing that a lot. But, it was nice to have Comcast as sort of like a back like, there were things like shows that I watched, and I knew exactly where they were, and so that took some adjustments. It was really hard for Johann, where he was like, um,
Struggling.
sitting just like, "I just as well just not watch anything because I can't find anything," and so it was constantly like, "How do I do this?" And so we're explaining now he zooms around and he's perfectly fine, and I bought him, I can't remember what the app is, but, it's basically he can watch football.
Mm.
And so that was his Christmas gift this year. And so mostly he's happy to be able to find football. Football is still on multiple places, so he gets annoyed when he goes one place where he thinks that the game's supposed to be and it's not, and he has to go and tick a tie figuring out where the game is.
Yeah.
For the most part, he's happy again. And he figured out because we had it all along, is we have regular channels. So everything that he was watching on cable it's on regular channels, and that was the reason why I got rid of cable. It's like, we're paying like $150 a month for you to watch stuff that you can just watch for free.
Yeah.
So we're shutting this down. So, yeah.
So we so I had mad drama with Verizon, the cell phone, trying to get off of my former law firm work plan and get on to Tim and I's plan. Took 3 visits, numerous hours. It was a mess. So one of the guys at the Verizon store gave me such excellent advice, and I'm so glad that I listened. So we got a Roku box, and he said, "Get the box and not the stick because the
Mhm.
box has a processor in it that'll move much faster, and you can, like,
Oh,
fly
okay.
all around, and it's, like, real time, and there's no lag." So we love that, and it has also the remote that you can talk into, which we were used to
We
doing on Comcast, so I can just be like,
we have
"Netflix." Yes. 'Cause I'm like, "We need that," because
yes.
we're so used to doing that. So this is and also the Roku box has live channels. They're not local channels,
Mhm.
but they have kinda like a lot of the channels that you had on cable or I don't know, there's like an All Leave It to Beaver channel that, like, my dad would love. Um, so anyway, there are, like, always some kinda shows that you can find that are just, like, on if you're not like, "Oh, I wanted to watch such and such," because sometimes you just wanna, like, have a rerun of something on in the background or
Yeah.
whatever, and so there is still that option. So we've been very, very happy so far, and, I'm very happy that we did it.
Yeah, we do the Amazon Fire.
Mm.
So I have a Fire TV, and I have 2 Fire Sticks.
So, yeah,
And
he had said get, like, a Fire TV or an Apple TV or, like, this Roku box thing.
yeah. I love my Fire. If I was a money waster, I would replace every TV in this house with a Fire TV. I will not do that. But I love my Fire TV, and I bought one, and I think the first one, something was wrong with it. I don't remember what it was, and I had to take it back. The TV actually told me, "Take me back, something's wrong." And, so I took it back and they gave me another one. But, it's been I don't even know how long I've had it. It was a Christmas gift to myself, and it is fantastic, but I love the talking into the remote. We had that option with Comcast, but I never used it. But I love the talking into the remote especially because if I don't know where something is and I'm like, "Hey, I wanna
Yeah.
just watch this." As long as I'm not on YouTube, it'll find it for me. If I'm on YouTube, it'll just find me a video about it. But yeah, because I use YouTube as my background.
Well, I did break down and get Tim the YouTube Premium without the commercials, and he's like, "Oh my god, this is life
I
changing."
know it is. It is. There is a video, I have no idea the video is about something about history. It's a history video. There's one comment where the person was, "I would love to watch this, but the commercials keep blasting in, and it's so annoying." There is, like, an entire thread of us saying, YouTube Premium is worth every penny because it's like what I love about it is that I can use it as, which I didn't realize that this was a problem, is I can use it as a podcast. Because when you turn your phone to black, it would shut the video off. But with YouTube Premium, it lets it keep playing. But
Okay.
it's worth every single penny. And I watch videos on YouTube. I watched The Family That Prays the other night. I don't remember what else. I don't remember other what movies I've watched, but yeah, I just watch movies. I messed up my algorithm recently because I got into true crime, and now it keeps throwing, and not like 48 hours, but actual the interview videos, because I just found them. I find them fascinating, but I can't watch them anymore because YouTube is like, oh, I got you, and I'm just like, no, too much YouTube. I wish the little phone allowed you to talk to the YouTube algorithm and just say, "Hey, I don't wanna see this anymore. It's too much. It's too dark and depressing." But, yeah.
So you've been doing some bone brothing?
Oh my gosh, yes. I make a huge batch, and by huge batch, probably about, I don't know, 30 or so jars of bone broth at a time. I do it a few times a year, and actually, I probably do it, like, yeah, probably every 3 months or so. And so I had tons of beef neck bones, pork ham hocks, I had some salmon heads, and what else I had? I feel like there was some, chicken feet, and I think that's it. And I decided to make bone broth, and as I was making it, I began wondering about my first thought was, I wonder if I made a bone broth just from fish, if that would be better for a dog that has a histamine overload. And when I started researching that, I found out actually, no, it's the opposite. Bone broth made with fish is probably the worst that
Wow.
you can give them because it's the highest in histamine. And the reason why is because after the fish dies, the histamine goes to the head and the tail. And so if you're gonna make it, you're gonna want it as fresh as possible, but still it's gonna be high in histamine. So then I wondered, well, is there something we can do to offset the histamine? And I wish I would have thought of this ages ago. And I was like, what are there herbs we can add to the bone broth? And I learned, yes, bay leaves, not turmeric, although turmeric helps with the immune system and reducing inflammation. It doesn't help reduce the histamine load, but bay leaves, parsley, and ginger do.
Wow.
But just a small amount. So it's not like, if your dog can't have broth because they have intense allergies, now you're gonna add this and they can have allergies. No. It's there's several things that you have to do to help. So first is shorter cooking time. So I cook in a pressure cooker, so that's much better than cooking in a slow cooker. And, when you cool it, you wanna cool it quickly. So, luckily, because of the smell of bone broth, I cook it outside and it's wintertime, so it does cool quickly. Then you want to, freeze it in small containers, and I use jars, but, no gigantic containers of bone broth. You wanna do small containers of bone broth, and then you wanna use it quickly. So you don't wanna sit it in your fridge for a long time, and you don't want it in the freezer. And I go through 2, not really 3, but at least 2 jars of bone broth a week. So I can go through this batch pretty quickly. It'll probably be gone in a couple months. And those are the type of things that can keep the histamine levels low. They'll never get rid of them. They'll always be there, but it'll keep. Oh, and also using fresh bones. So never, like, if you get a freezer dump, a lot of times people have soup bones. You can make bone broth from them, but it's gonna be a high histamine bone broth.
Okay.
And so there is a lot of little things to do. And ultimately, like for Buffy, she can have bone broth, and she's doing so much better. She's on the allergy support by Wolf Creek, but she's doing so much better. I give her a scoop twice a day, and she's also on WinPro Allergy. And so I think it's because it's wintertime and also because of that support, she's doing a lot better. So she can have bone broth, and I just give her a little bit, because it's my whole thing is just to take the chill off the food, and she does okay. she does just fine with it. But I went through and had to label. I had to go to store and buy labels because I had to label all of the jars so I knew which ones had fish in them. And
Oh.
my first batch with fish didn't have the ginger, and so I wanted to label those separately so I knew which ones had the herbs in it. But in the end, because, I don't like the smell of bone broth, when I put those things in there and I went and got fresh herbs, it smelled so good. I mean, like, insanely good. Not good enough, like, I wasn't brave enough to taste it because I had fished an eyeball out of one batch, and I still can't get that out of my head. So I can't bring myself to taste it, but, it smelled so good. So, but yeah.
That's
I have a
fascinating.
post coming out that talks about how much of each thing. Oh, and, like, the parsley, you can't just throw the parsley in. Like, I threw the roots and the, bay leaves in, but when it's done cooking and it's on the like, basically cooling down, that's when I throw the parsley in, and
Okay.
it does its work, and then I strain everything out. It's just the broth that I give to my dogs. But, oh, fish heads.
My husband one time was like, "Oh, we need more bay leaves. I'll see if I can order some online," because I think the grocery store might have been out or something like that. And that man ordered a pound of bay leaves, and that is a lot of bay leaves because 'cause they're very small
Yeah.
or very lightweight.
Yes.
So, we will have bay leaves for, like, 30 years.
I mean, it's like it took me a while to figure out that 50 pounds of sardines is a lot of sardines. Because I
Mm.
used to be like, "I'll just order 50 pounds of sardines," and the idea of it, and it's fresh, whole sardines, and I it's like I won't have to have sardines for a while. I don't have enough freezer space. I have 2 freezers, but I do not have the freezer space for 50 pounds of sardines. I mean, it's more like, how freezers have shelves? It's more than I could put on a shelf, and it's like I need my shelves for the food. And it sucks because it's, like, a really cost-effective way to buy sardines, not to mention it's all one icicle block of fish, so you buy it, and then you have to put it in a tub and let it slightly thaw and deal with the fish smell, and then put it into containers. But I keep thinking one year I'm gonna figure out how to Jenga those into the freezer. We'll see.
I'm just thinking Tim would die if I ever made fishy bone broth because he can't even handle it if I get the Solutions fish jiggles. Like, he's gagging if he smells it.
Oh, you would die. I remember when I tasted it. I first tasted the Answers pet food one, and then I tasted the, I tasted the Cure, and I've tasted the fish jiggles, and it's not my favorite thing. It's not. I much prefer the wild fermented mushrooms from Green Juju. Those I think are but I'm a mushroom nut. I love mushrooms, and so, I mean, I think that's delicious, and so whenever I thaw some for the dogs, I have a little too. It's delicious.
So, you're doing something interesting with Zoe.
I am. Zoe is yes, she is part of a trial with Jope. They have a new supplement coming out, and it's I can't tell you exactly what it's for, to be perfectly honest. I think, it supports gut health, but it has a lot of really great ingredients in it, and they believe that it can also help maintain a senior dog at a healthy weight.
And this
So,
is different from the gut one they just released.
did they just
A
release
different
one?
one? Yeah,
Maybe
they
it's the
just
same one, because I don't pay attention to anything. So, it might be the same one. I'm
called
looking at
Synbiotic Gut Balance '01 or GB '01.
what does a picture look like? I can't find anything. I need to see a picture. Oh, no, that's it. Oh, no, no, it is not the same one. It's similar. This one is WSO1, and it's weight support.
Okay.
So, but she's been taking this. I actually like it for, in my opinion, based on my initial experience, if it doesn't give my dog gas or diarrhea, then it's like, yay, yay, yay. And the ingredients are really fantastic. Even though this is a little, I'm trying to show it to you, but I froze. But even though this is a little bag, um, I have barely made a dent in the first bag, and they sent me 3 because it's over 3 months. And granted, she's a smaller dog than most. I mean, not that small. She's 67 pounds. But my goal is to get her down to 63 pounds. And so we've been going on our walks, and, um, she's doing pretty good, but she does well on it, so I'm excited to see what happens.
Good.
So we'll see. So I have to report her weight. I feel like such a failure because I've had week 4, and it's just like, "Yep, still 67 pounds. Yep, 67 pounds." But we'll see.
Well, you'll have to keep us posted. You said it's a 3-month trial?
It's a 3-month trial, so hopefully, hopefully in 3 months, she'll be, like, maybe 65 pounds.
Well, that's very cool.
I think so.
Oh, and you're also doing the anxiety plugin, and I'm very curious about that.
Oh, I don't know if it worked or not. I feel like it may have because all of the dogs were fine with the fireworks except for Buffy. And what it is that usually my dogs don't have a problem until the night of when it's just everyone's doing them.
Yeah.
But the ones that are off in the distance, it just doesn't phase my dogs. But it phased Buffy. Buffy was just like, I don't know what that is, but it's scary. And she'd run straight to the house and want to go inside. And so when we were inside, she was just like, freaking out. And she has a space on my bed. That's her I'm scared space. And she
Oh.
goes like right up to the pillows and she curls up into a little tiny ball and looks so just pitiful.
Mhm.
She was really struggling. And I was giving her CBD oil and, playing with her and distracting her. But I kept seeing the ads for it. And I was just like, I wonder if that would work. And so I went ahead and got it. What it is, it's supposed to be pheromones and people get them for dogs with separation anxiety, got dogs that are anxious, and they were talking about thunderstorms and fireworks, and so I figured, I'll go ahead. I just got it off of Amazon. For all I know, it's what is it called? Where it's probably just water in there, and it doesn't have it doesn't have a scent. But when I plugged it in, each of the dogs would go to it and sniff around it because they were curious about it. But she didn't have any problems. I mean, when the fireworks are going off, I was sitting there watching a movie. I was watching actually Stranger Things, and I kept trying to take video of it, but the video just didn't come out very well. But, they were all sleeping. They slept, and especially Buffy. Buffy just slept. She was perfectly fine. She still didn't wanna go outside, which I don't blame her, but she was perfectly fine through the night. And I don't keep it on 'cause there's a button where you can turn it off and on. So it's one of those if something, stressful is gonna happen. I think it would come in handy when we're doing work on the house, if Johan's drilling something or something,
Mhm.
that's something where it would come in handy then, um, if there's a windstorm or thunderstorm, maybe plug it, hit the button and turn it on, a day or so before, I don't know. But it it seemed to have worked. I can't even it's one of those where I can't tell you for a fact that it absolutely did work, because it's not like she was, shaking in a tub because of fireworks. She just didn't like them. And so I don't know if she just finally accepted that, they're not coming in the house to get her. So she just was like, no one else seems to be freaking out. So I'm not going to freak out either. And there have been, the residual fireworks as everyone got rid of their stash, and those didn't bother her. So, and I had it plugged in or, turned on. So I honestly don't know, and I've heard from people that, one person said that it seemed to work for her dog, and another person said that it didn't work in her house at all, but she has, like, tons of pets. So I don't know how well it works when you have tons of pets. One thing I did read was that if you have a big house, it sort of you can't just plug it into one area of the house and think it's gonna cover your whole house. You have to and
Right.
I didn't do that. I just put it into the biggest room where I knew we were gonna be just to see, and but would I buy it again? No,
Okay.
probably not. I mean, not because it's bad, but because I don't know. I don't know if it's if it works or not, because I also gave her CBD oil. Granted, I'd been giving that to her all along, and you know, so maybe it was like a combination, but it's like one of those where I can't go and leave a review and say, "Oh, if you're having a problem, definitely check this out." I would be curious if anyone else has ever tried it.
And what was that one called again?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
There are a ton of them on Amazon, which is why I say for all I know, it's a placebo and just has water in it. And I got one off of Amazon that had the highest stars, and I went through and read the reviews.
'Cause I've
And
heard of one called Adaptil. It starts with an A, Adaptil, I think that's how you say it.
yeah,
And we didn't notice any specific benefits. Now, I have not tried it recently. I think this was probably back around the time we adopted Nino, because he's always kinda just been a fearful guy, and it was, like, supposed to be kinda like a pheromone that, like, mama
yeah,
dogs put off, with puppies that's, like, comforting, and one of our vets, when we do our big clinic events, she'll spray it sometimes around, but again, I don't know whether it helps or not.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It's
And what's
interesting.
funny is I left it on. I don't know why I turned it on, but one week I decided to turn it on just to see. And this it may not be related or not. I have no idea. But a few days later, Buffy started acting really scared. Like every time I put my hands up like this over my head, she like would drop if she had a toy, she would drop it and she would jump into the corner of the sofa and curl up and look at me and roll over on her tummy. And I was just like, "Oh my god, I don't beat you. What is going on?" And it was like, and again, may not have been related, or maybe I did something at one point in time, and around the same time, my arms were up that sort of made her nervous. I have no idea. But I spent the rest of the week just basically I looked I spent the rest of the week basically playing with her and then putting my arms up to show her this is fun time, and she got over it, but I happened to notice that it was on and was like, "Maybe this is it," and so I turned it off. Again, I don't know. It's like, what is it? Correlation does not equate a causation,
Yeah.
or
Or
a
causation isn't.
causation doesn't equate correlation. So, I don't know. But I don't think, unless I tried it a lot longer and was able to clearly say, "Okay, this is really helping," I don't think I would buy it again. But, I mean, it's not super expensive. I think it was, like, $25, so it doesn't hurt to try for people who are like, "I have no idea what to do next."
Oh, we did something fun over the weekend. So we were supposed to do our canine escape room event, but apparently, like, I don't know, like everybody around here is sick. Like ever since Christmas time, there's been some kind of nasty virus
Yep.
going around. And so it ended up getting canceled because everybody was sick. So I was like, "Hey, could I come by and just kinda, like, rent your space out for an hour and do some stuff with Daisy girl here?" And she was like, "Oh, sure." So that was awesome. I got to bring her up and do nose work in a different spot and got to
Mm.
hide things, and then it was just a big open room, with that nice grippy flooring material,
Yeah.
so she could just run all around and, we were playing with her rope and tug and going everywhere, so and just tons of new stuff to sniff and, check out and explore, so she had a good old time.
Oh, I wish we had a place like that here. That sounds like heaven. I would love to. I know that there's a place called the Zoom Room, and I think that they have one in Seattle, which I would never drive to Seattle with my dogs. But if they had one local, I would definitely consider just renting out a space and taking my dogs, because we've talked about the sniff spot before. It's funny because I love taking my dogs to a sniff spot, but you have to take them a couple times before they actually just play. Because
Mm.
the first, you know, 1 or 2 times, they're just sniffing every single
Yeah.
thing because it's like, "Who was here? What is this? Where are we?" And so but now can't use them anymore because of the subscription model. But, oh well.
So, yeah, I was like, it's kinda like an indoor that's just sad, I don't know if I don't think she rents it out to the public like
Yeah.
that, but, I guess, um, that could always maybe be an option for people if they have somebody, because you don't wanna go to, like, a dog park or,
Yeah.
like, you wanna control for other dogs being in the environment, and so this was like, we were able to just be there with just us, and,
Yeah.
yeah, that worked out really well.
I love
Oh, I have
that.
something I'm super nerding out about.
Okay.
So, I saw an article that was about human health recently, and I saw one of, our local vets posted, "Oh, we can do this with dogs too." So in humans, there is a blood marker called C-reactive protein, and it measures inflammation in your body. And they're
Mm.
actually saying that the level of your C-reactive protein is actually a better indicator of whether you have heart disease that could cause, heart attack, stroke. Like it's a better marker than even cholesterol is. And so I was like, "Ooh, that's really interesting." And vets say, yes, dogs have the same biomarker. And so if you're concerned about, a senior dog, or is there an autoimmune issue or something, something where there's inflammation in the body, you can ask your vet to include C-reactive protein in the blood work. And that might actually be a better indicator for you of what's going on with your dog.
Nice. That's actually pretty interesting. I was reading something about blood work too, and I honestly cannot remember what it was, but it has something to do with liver health. And there was another test that they can do when it comes to liver health that I've never heard of before. I don't know. I need to take Zoe in because I want to have her blood work redone. But I Apollo had a birthday. He's now 7 years old,
Oh,
and it shocked us because he's been with us for almost 7 years, and that was not the plan. But I'm happy to have him because he's my angel.
it's
But
always the ones that don't go according to plan.
but he's never been sick, knock on wood. I mean, he's been a healthy dog all his life and has only been to the vet a couple of times. And it's like, I mean, he has slowed down, not in the activity way, but in his naughty ways. So, like we can be outside on the property, and our property borders a popular walking trail. And if he sees something, it used to be that if he saw someone out there walking a dog, he was going to go say hi to the dog. And now he's just like, "Oh, look, a dog." And he just doesn't care. And when I call him, he comes back. He used to also love to do a walkabout. So he would go to one of the neighbors' house and be like, "Hey, I'm Apollo. Would you like to play with me?" And, and he doesn't do that anymore. So it's just like I think it was probably a year ago when I realized that he came when I called him consistently. I mean, he will eventually come, but now 7 years old. It only took
Only takes that long.
He's like, "Good gravy." But he's, like, such a good boy.
Oh, tell me about the pancakes with peanut butter.
Oh, yes. So, yes, he got pancakes with peanut butter for his birthday. Johann makes himself pancakes almost every morning. It's his thing. And he has, like, a different relationship with each of the dogs, which is kind of fun to watch. And Apollo's, giving him his sweet eyes, and I was walking by, and I was like, "If you wanna give him a pancake, he can have a pancake." Um, it was his birthday, and Johann was like, "Oh, okay." And so he took the very last of the batter and made him like a bigger than what is it, a silver
Silver
dollar
dollar, yeah.
pancake. And but he puts peanut butter on it because Johann puts peanut butter on his pancakes, and then he puts syrup, and I was just sort of like, "He can have a pancake with some peanut butter, but no syrup." I didn't realize I had to say how much peanut butter, because I turn around and I see this pancake that he's about to feed Apollo, and it is just, I mean, it wasn't a ton of peanut butter, but it looked like he frosted the pancake with peanut butter, and I was just like, "No, that's way too much peanut butter. You can take that off." It was like if someone took, basically a silver dollar amount of peanut butter and smeared it on it. He was covering the pancake with peanut butter. And I was like, that's way too much. And he was just like, no, it's okay. It's his birthday. And he gave it to him anyway. And Apollo was so very happy.
Oh, I bet.
And I told him, and I was like, and this will not become a habit. This will not become your thing that you guys do. Because Apollo has put on a little bit of weight. I think he's overweight. He still has a waist. You could still feel his ribs, but I think he's about 5 pounds overweight. And so I told him, it's like, he will not be allowed to just get his dollar size pancakes every morning. It's like, we're not doing that. Find a different way to bond. But I don't know if he listens to me, so because I'm not paying attention. I hope that he is, but I went on a tiny, not hysterical rant about the, dogs don't need carbs and sugar, and I don't know what's in those ingredients, and he's senior now, and he's a little overweight, and what this does to his joints, and blah, 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 blah. And so I think Johan, I hope he listened. So we'll see.
Oh, I'm pleased to report, I don't think I gave a follow-up on this yet, that Daisy Girl did not appear to have any negative effects of eating the 20-year-old chocolate.
Oh, yes, that's right. Well, that's good to know.
I'm still just laughing at that one.
I dropped a tortilla chip the other day and didn't realize it, and Buffy picked it up, and I looked at her because I heard the noise, and I looked at her, and she immediately just dropped it and looked at me, and I was like, "Hey, it's on the ground. It's yours. Go ahead." And she was just like, she slowly, and I'm like, "It's yours," and so she ate it happily. But I was like, "Don't expect any more. Don't expect any more."
It is very funny how the dogs can have a different relationship with different people, because as soon as Daisy Girl sees Tim, she just, like, launches herself at him, like, "It's Playman! Like, I'm coming for you!" She's, like, drop kicking, like, bouncing off his chest, and he's like, "Oh my god, oh my god." And then with me, she'll, like, come up with me on the sofa and snuggle. Now, sometimes she's bringing me toys and she wants to tug, and stuff, as you've seen, but
Yeah.
she doesn't, like, attack full on, like, body slam me the way that she does to Tim, She'll come I'm the one she'll snuggle with and stuff, and
Nope.
it's just very funny how they make those associations. I love it.
I know. For since it was his birthday, I called his dog walker. I swear I feel like a psycho when it comes to my dogs. But I texted his dog walker and was like, "Hey, it's Apollo's birthday. He turned 7." So, and I needed his help moving something in our house that's too heavy for us to move. I was like, let's get these strapping young men. So, Stephen and his brother William stopped by the house, and I put the dogs away except for Apollo because I knew Apollo would just like, not only is Stephen here not on a walking day, but, William's here too, and that's just like to Apollo, that's just like 2 Stephens.
Best day ever!
Exactly. I remember the first time I took him somewhere to see, we were, like, at the Arlington Street Fair, I think, and Apollo was younger, he's probably a year old. And I took him to see Stephen, but he saw William first. And I actually used to think they were twins. They don't look exactly alike, but they look alike. They're definitely brothers. And he went and was playing with William, was like so excited. And then Stephen goes, "Apollo." And then he realized, he looks at William like, "Oh, you're not Stephen." And then he runs over to Stephen. But this time he went back and forth because he was just like so excited. Like, oh my God, he loves Stephen so much. It's insane. But yeah, he's such a good boy.
I love it. Well, before we sign off, I want to give a shout out to our listener, Julia, who just got a recent hemangiosarcoma diagnosis with her dog. And we're sending you love, Julia.
Definitely. It's a rough time. But you know what? Even though I lost my dog, I saw so many dogs that were thriving that had hemangio. And I think that experience in that one group, it made me feel a different way when it comes to cancer. Not that I'm wishing a cancer diagnosis on anyone, nor do I want any of I feel like I paid my cancer dues, and I just don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
But seeing so many dogs thrive, seeing all the different ways the things people are doing to keep their dogs healthy, it gave me a little more hope.
All right. Well, we have some great guests coming up for you
Yes, we
guys
do.
in 2026, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, guys.